So we're back on the road again. Welcome to another episode of Photo Tricks and Travel Tips with me, Harry Van Gorkum. Now, today I haven't ventured too far. And it's really going to be an exercise in minimalism for this photo trip. The reason being, I am in an area of England called Lincolnshire. Now, Lincolnshire is not the best known place in the world for landscape photography. Let's put it this way. If you search on Google for Lincolnshire landscape photography, you get two sites of people who are taking kind of landscape photography in Lincolnshire, if not doing wedding photography or something else. And they're not sites which are very visited. If you go on YouTube and search for Lincolnshire landscape photography or landscape spots or locations in Lincolnshire, there's an area called the Lincolnshire Wolds, W-O-L-D-S, which is kind of features on YouTube, but let's put it this way. You can count the amount of YouTube videos for Lincolnshire landscape photography on about one hand. So it's a bit of a gamble. And it's a bit of a test for me, and that's why I'm doing it. Lincolnshire also is close enough away from Norfolk, where I live. It's a 2.5 hour drive. You've got the coast, where I'm going to head for first. Then you've got the Wolds. Now, the Wolds are the only area in Lincolnshire which have got any kind of undulation in them. Lincolnshire, as you can see from what I just shot here, if you look out the window, Lincolnshire is like that. You can see the whole of Lincolnshire by standing on a telephone directory. I'm sure of it. It's the flattest place in England. It reminds me of the flat states I drove through in America. And as a result, you're not really going to get large vistas of landscapes. So what I'm going to focus on is minimalist photography, finding something in that flat, boring landscape to focus in on. I'm going to go to the coast. There's a couple of things on the coast. There's a bell which is in the sea, which is really good to photograph. There's a deserted tank on the beach somewhere I'm going to try and find. So this is going to be less about large vistas and wide angle. This is going to be more about using 50mm lenses, using 80mm lenses, and just focusing maybe even in mono, in black and white, on what we're going to see. So it's an experiment. I may come away with nothing. As I said, I have put myself in the most unphotogenic landscape that I've ever driven through, and it's different. It's interesting. It's a test. So we're in Mabelthorpe, on the Mabelthorpe beach. There we are. And the reason we are here, or I am here, is because of this. The Lincolnshire Time and Tide Bell. Rung by the high tide, this time and tide bell is one of a series around the coast of Britain sounded by the waves. If the tide isn't too high, what I'm hoping to do is get a shot of the time and tide bell, the Lincolnshire Time and Tide Bell, which is further off up the coast, because it has this really cool look and structure about it, as hopefully you'll see, and these kind of tripod legs that it stands on, which give it a kind of alien form. But if the tide's way up, then you won't see the legs. You just see the top part. Sand and things get worn out with time. This is a sign about how there's erosion. Yeah, sign's eroded. There it is. So if you want to find this location on what3words.com, this is where you're going to come to. Reclined melt routes. Routes. Hit by the wave makes it chime. Beautiful, almost oriental bowl on the top, which gives it that gorgeous sound. Stunning. Right, so we get some photographs of it. This seems to be working. I'm slowing the shutter down a lot as usual to get the blurred water. I don't know if I zoom in, you can now see. That's the zoom. So here's the second location, which is just further up the coast, about 6 minutes. I was about here before, I reckon, and now I've driven up the coast to come here to this car park here, because about here there is a tank ruin on the beach, which I'm going to try and photograph before it gets too dark. Hopefully the beach is up ahead and the tank should be off to the left somewhere. So to tell you the truth, I'm pretty happy with how it's gone so far today. The weather is terrible. It's flat light. It's raining, it's damp, it's cold. But I think I've already got a really nice shot of the time and tide bell, as long as my focus is sharp, because it's all about the focus. Because when you're doing slow shutter speed and you're focusing on a minimal thing, that thing has to be tack sharp. But it just goes to prove, any conditions, as long as you know where you're going to, and that's why I do these videos. Because if you are coming to Lincolnshire and you've got a crappy day, then I'm giving you some locations you can get to and get some kind of interesting shots and practice your skills as a photographer. So come out on quite a marshland here. It's not exactly a beach. It's more a marshland somewhere. So hopefully up ahead soon we should start to see something according to my GPS coordinates. That little brown dot there could be the amphibious tank vehicle. But shoot it is there. So we're going to set the tripod up here, probably get a bit lower. If we get lower, does that take everything out? Yeah, you get low, you just get that, which is really cool. So I've covered it from all different angles. I'll show you the different angles in a minute, but I want to show you now I'm putting a polarizer on, because by putting a polarizer on it brings out this lovely black and blue around here, but also we've actually got a sky happening now, which is incredible considering the conditions we had today. We now have a sky, so I may even put the wide angle on, even though I said don't bring a wide angle. I may put a wide angle on just to get that sky popping. But I'm really lucky to get this kind of sky today. Is unexpected, and the light on the tank is fantastic. So the angles I got, this is one angle here, like this. There's not much there, but it's kind of interesting. This sort of low angle here to get the well, low to start with to get the shape, and then higher up to get the turret. So walking back to the car. I mean, we should know as landscape photographers now. Any fellow landscape photographers who are watching, and I hope you are. Those mornings when you think, it's really not worth it. Stay in bed, stay home. You do that, you miss this. So you always know, there's always that little niggle in the back of your mind that something may happen, something may go off. And even if you don't photograph it, you can't photograph it all, and I've stopped photographing, but let me look at it now. Okay, let's do justice. Just makes it all worthwhile, and hopefully we get some shots with it.